it's Ruby here today, and today I'm in the Netherlands. I am currently attending a conference on dreaming. It's being held in Kerkrade in the Rolduc Abbey, where I'm actually staying as well. So very southern tip of the Netherlands. The border of Germany is actually on the sort of like southern side of this abbey. Like when I actually go to the abbey, I'll get a text message from my cell phone provider saying like, welcome to Germany. So very close to the border. I spent all day yesterday commuting, a 9-hour plane ride and then a 3-hour train ride. And then halfway through the train ride, I discovered that my transfer didn't actually connect to the town because there had been some storm damage and they had been having to fix that. So then I had to take a taxi, got here, got really jet lagged, and now here I am. And still jet lagged. I woke up at 5 o'clock and I've been waiting for about 2 hours for the breakfast place to open in the Abbey. So I'm going to show you the Abbey. So I'm not going to be able to talk nearly as much while I'm in the conference, just because it's a conference. I don't want to be rude, don't want to film people who don't want to be filmed, and I actually know these people. They're not strangers. So I will try to give you guys a tour. It's like 6:30 in the morning. Most people aren't up yet. I don't really understand why anybody would be up yet, so I will try to give you as much of a tour as possible. If anything, it'll be a cool adventure through the Abbey. First things first is the view outside of my window, which is ridiculous. It's the courtyard. All of the rooms look in, so I'll show you that. See, that's pretty cool. So that's the restaurant down there. It's a big old tree, and that's like the cathedral, I think. The room, which is, I think they called it monastic, which makes sense. So basically just a room for monks. Very basic, no TV. There's no toilet. There's just like a shower and a sink, which isn't bad. There's a toilet down the hall. The skeleton keys are ridiculous. This is to get into my room. Same thing is actually in the closet. I'm not really sure why the closet locks, but it does. But see, the skeleton key, what is this? Creepy ass hallway here. So it is about halfway through the second day of the conference out of 4 days. So I don't know if I had mentioned this before, but I didn't really want to do full-on daily vlogs, especially during the conference, just because a lot of it is general academia, a lot of socializing, a lot of, I think, very specialized studies and contextual information that would result in me talking more lecture style than necessarily doing any sort of daily vlogs. This doesn't mean I didn't want to talk about anything, just that there is a whole bunch of information coming at me at once and I didn't want to overload any of the information that I'm doing on this vlog. I did want to mention a couple of things that I found interesting that I kind of realized as I was going into this that I did want to share. So my experience on the studies of dreams, which is basically the theme of this conference, is very limited. Most of the knowledge I have on dreaming is associated with Freud or Jung and content analysis rather than anything that has to do with spirituality or neuroscience or any of those sorts of areas of dreaming. So I do have like a basic knowledge of REM sleep and when you dream and how you dream, and that is something that I learned in psychology, but I never went super in depth with dreaming. It's really just not something that my university taught. What I'm learning in this conference is a couple of different things. There is a cultural difference between studying, just generally in psychology, which I found super interesting. You'll see that in like poster presentations. So for anybody who doesn't know, when you do a research project, especially in an undergrad or sometimes master's or even PhD, you'll often create a poster. It's usually a pretty big poster that will have a summary of a particular study that you've done with charts and illustrations so that people can come up to you and talk to you. And usually there's a room of them so people can go from one to the other and sort of get a mix and understanding of what's going on. And that's sort of what a conference is for, is not only to bring your own information to the table, but to also be able to discuss things with other people. And so you'll find, you know, posters from Canada, which is where I'm from, where the posters are very streamlined, a moderate amount of information, a lot of charts, and a lot of like bullet points to allow you to sort of grasp the general concept. But you'll see that in other European countries, maybe the poster size is smaller, maybe the text is smaller, maybe there's more information. It seems to be less streamlined. And I think part of that is just, I think there's a more cultural aspect to how you present that information and sort of what universities will do poster presentations. So that's very interesting. And the actual content of the research is also very cultural. So in North America, it's more science, like hard science, or what you consider to be hard science, a lot of cognitive psychology, neuroscience, while in Europe, it's a lot of theory-based. Although apparently in Germany and the Netherlands, there is a big movement for neuroscience, but it's still weirdly within the context of theory. So there's that, which is cool. Another thing that I realized for dreaming is how many different aspects of dreaming there are, and how one of the main reasons for how much this is flourishing has to do with the fact that I heard it today, and I'm not really sure why it never came to mind before. Maybe that's just because I really haven't been studying that much dreaming, which is that one of the reasons that people really like studying it is because it's also the study of consciousness. So how is it that you're able to experience this visual and auditory experience when you're unconscious that tricks you into feeling like you're conscious, and also gives you a different approach to really how you experience things. So very, very interesting stuff. And there's a lot of contention within the field as to, in all of the fields, as to what that means. So I've been to a conference on Jungian theory on content analysis, which is very interesting. I did a lucidity conference, or lucidity symposium, I guess, on being able to detect lucidity and the problems with knowing if someone is truly aware of the fact that they're dreaming or not, and how to make that consistent, and maybe some different applied aspects to lucid dreaming. And then I'm just going to one that has to do with Chinese dreams and like death and the deceased, and I guess like the afterlife and that sort of experience, and spirituality, so Judaism and Islam in relation to dreams, and how they interpret dreams. I guess the Abrahamic religious traditions, because there was some Christianity in there as well, and a lot of it comes from Jacob's Ladder, apparently. So very cool. And what I've been experiencing is I'll follow my supervisor around and listen to conversations, and there's a lot of heated debates over dreaming. And this generally happens in academia. I think there are a lot of heated debates. It is someone's pride and someone's life's work to have to defend their theories, but I think in dreams there is an incredibly subjective and emotional implication of dreams that is truly yours. Just like how I remember hearing nobody really wants to hear about the dreams of another person, like there's no sentimentality involved in that. So you often get into this territory of like, if you're discussing dreams, you can't negate other people's feelings that dreams are necessarily spiritual or scientific or what they're experiencing, because you really can't get down to the core of what it is they're experiencing. So just really cool stuff. I've been spending like all day just listening to different kinds of lectures and different theories and different opinions, and then people's feedback on those opinions, and then hearing, you know, conversations around things. So very cool. So I thought that that was kind of interesting. I thought that was a cool follow-up. I have to go to another talk because they're all day, and this one's actually the really cool Chinese one. I really wanted to go to it because really, like, is there another time that you're gonna be able to learn this kind of stuff? So I will check in later. We'll see when the next time I check in is, but I'll talk to you guys later.